Hey guys, yesterday I posted something on Facebook and I'm going to read it word for word so I get it right. The new year has revealed some concerning things about 2024. Many people had blessed years releasing new music, having children, getting married, traveling the world, etc. But it seems as many people are confused, misplaced, disassociated about the year that just passed. And I'm no psychologist, but I'm tugged at both ends by this issue and have a few ideas on how we got to this point. Just bear with me. May not make a lot of sense up front, but I think you can relate to it. The first thing to me is the frustration of being a human being in today's world starts with passwords and codes. Me, it wasn't even 10:30 this morning that I was asked for a code to get into my email account to prove that I'm not a robot. Why should I have to prove I'm not a robot? Do I look like a robot? Are you a robot? No. Well, who are they to ask me if I'm a robot or not? Of course it's for security, and I totally get that. But we are prisoners of this technology that was supposed to be easier and make our life easier. The reality is, and we'll get to other things like streaming services in another episode, but the reality is passwords and codes make us feel like shit before the day even really gets started, because you forget your password and all of a sudden you're just in a panic until you can figure it out, because you can't get into that important email or that important account because you've got to pay a bill or you've got to do something and you're terrified that they're going to lock you out after 3 tries. So what's the answer here? I'm not sure what the answer to passwords and codes as one of the problems that got us to where we are as a detached, disassociated society, but it's one of the things that frustrates me, and I'm sure it frustrates every single person out there. Probably the best thing to do is to keep them all similar and have 3 or 4 that you rotate so you can figure them out even if you don't have them written down. But for the purpose here, I think this is just one of those things that's causing us to be frustrated individuals day in and day out. And here's another one. Working remotely and food delivery. Okay, this remote workplace started during the pandemic and it continues today. I'd say 40-50% of people do not go into the office more than 1 day a week or at all. Now, it makes perfect sense. Like, my daughter has 4 kids and she can work remotely very effectively, as can a lot of people. And that's not the issue. The issue is absolute lack of human interaction. We are strung together by a series of Zoom meetings and internet webinars, and we meet our coworkers online. Sometimes I don't think we even have met them in person. It's human interaction or a lack thereof. So how are we to judge ourselves and make ourselves better, happier people when we're not around other people? And it's absolutely going to be a problem for future generations because of the lack of human interaction in the workplace to start with. And then food delivery. All right, here's one. So I get it. We've always had Chinese food and pizza delivered to us, right? Since I was a little kid. I get that. And I also get the fact that if you are busy and you can't go out and you want a good meal, you want food delivered to you. I totally get that, and it makes sense. The problem is you've got a certain laziness level out there of people that live 2 blocks from the restaurant and pay $10 extra to get food delivered. It's their choice. It's pretty ridiculous. But here's the other thing. It comes back to human interaction again. There's a lack of human interaction when you don't go to a restaurant and sit down, see your friends, meet new people, interact with the wait staff, look at the menu, try something different. It is human interaction again. And not only that, but in this instance with food delivery, it's not just affecting your or my mindset and our mental well-being, because again, we're not interacting with people in person. It's affecting the restaurants, it's affecting the wait staff, it's affecting everybody involved, because they have to plan completely differently for what they do with their restaurant. And it affects the service inside the restaurant, because sometimes the delivery is so substantial that they can't keep up in the existing brick and mortar. So here's the deal. Get out and go to a restaurant and interact with people, get to know people, have a few laughs, have a few drinks. It's just, again, this is all gonna come down to human interaction, why we are in such a frustrated state. And that's, a lot of why I believe music is so important, because people get out to events, not like they used to, but I think that's why I feel that we do a good service by providing music at multiple locations. So there's another thing, and here's another one. Online shopping and small business interaction. We've already touched on small business interaction with the restaurants and not going in and hanging out and interacting with people. Online shopping, in my condo, there are times that packages are halfway up to the ceiling from the table in the lobby. Now, I get it. Drugstores are a nightmare. I cannot stand going to drugstores, and I don't blame anybody for wanting to get their prescriptions or their vitamins or whatever from a drugstore. And I ordered shoes online because, it was easy for me. I'm at fault. Now, but the problem is, just like the restaurants that we see closing on a weekly basis, the brick and mortar stores that we grew up with and the interaction within the store, going to try on a pair of shoes, getting to know the guy at the corner store, shopping local. Again, there's no human interaction. And I think that it frustrates us because we feel like we have grown accustomed to online shopping, and we don't know how to get out of this trend. There's gonna be young people in this world that have never been to a mall, never been to certain stores. They just are so used to doing things online. Now, I agree that in a lot of instances, it makes sense to order things online, but there's a bookstore next door, and we're a record shop, and there's record shops in this town, there's other bookstores, there's Macy's, there's all kinds of places in this town that you can go to buy gifts and buy things, and you don't have to order them online. And again, it gets down to interaction within people. You get to know people at these stores, and you get to know people that can be friends of yours and might support your music or your art or any number of things. I just think that the cohesiveness of what I'm talking about here is that we have, in the last almost 5 years, coming in March, become a society of settling for less. We are a society of mail order, which is really online shopping and online food delivery, and it's just become so impersonal that it gets frustrating, you get depressed, and you don't really know why. And so what I've tried to do here is show a few examples of things that are frustrating, you may not even look at them as reasons for your frustration. But the truth of the matter is, day in and day out, these things are cause for frustration in our lives. And this is a series, and I've got at least 5 more of these. And just to recap, passwords and codes, my God, just don't feel like an idiot and a loser because that computer tells you that you are, because you can't remember your passwords and they have to send you a code because they want to make sure you're not a robot. I mean, just don't. Keep your passwords simple and try not to get locked out because it's not going anywhere. We have to deal with that. However, you can pay by a check. You can buy stamps at the post office. And I do that for a lot of people or vendors that I don't really want to pay. I write them a check and make them wait for it. But they're just as happy to get a check as they are anything else. Again, online shopping, small business interaction. I get it. There's a place for online shopping, and the vendors that are involved with Amazon, they're making money too. So people do on the local level make money in the online shopping world. But get to a store, go interact with people, make new friends, do new things, Working remotely in food delivery, honestly, go to the office, meet your coworkers, interact with a group, sit in a conference room and talk about things. It's just, if that's what you do. That's one of the things about recording in the music business. It's so great, is the collaboration amongst people. You see it every day, and sometimes they're so surprised at how wonderful it is to be in a room full of people creating something. And again, that's why I think this music industry, if we can all stay focused and patient and make our way through it without going broke or crazy, it's a great, hey, there's a telephone going off. That's another way to contact people when you're sick of doing it online. However, I'm not going to pick that up because it's probably a solicitation call, and that is another thing for another day. But, just keep your head on straight, and we'll try to help you out with some of this insanity that goes on in this world. You're not alone, and I think that we can get through this. And I basically am going to call this segment What's Going On, because that's the truth. What's going on in this world, and how are we going to get through it? Well, we're not going to be able to change everything, but we can change the way we look at it and the way we allow these things to affect us. So that was just a few ideas. I'm going to try to keep these to 15 minutes, and feel free to comment. Feel free to give me some ideas that help you, or some issues that you have in this detached, impersonal world that we live in, and we'll try to make it a better place. Take it easy, guys.